Alrighty, let's begin here. Eagle Reverse Last Reactor is back for new video. And before we get into this one, you know, I will be making more videos like these, just discussing things that are popular. And this one, we're talking about Squid Game Season 2. And if you guys are interested in, just videos like these, then consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. So I know that you guys enjoy this type of stuff, and I'll continue to make even more videos like these. With that being said, let's begin and discuss. So for Squid Game Season 2, I decided to wait a little bit until most of you guys have seen it. It came out in like December or something. It's like January now, so I'm assuming most of us probably have seen it. I mean, in total, it's like 7-ish hours of content. There's 7 total episodes. Some are about an hour long, so around 7-ish hours in total for Squid Game Season 2. So maybe it is kind of bingeable to watch. I don't know, but definitely kept me hooked and interested. That is what I will say. I'm not so much gonna rate the season as much as I'm gonna talk about it overall. It'd feel kind of weird, but I'll see where I go with that. I'm assuming you've seen season 1, obviously, because we're discussing the second season, because that's what is popular and being talked about and discussed right now. And I'm assuming that you've seen the whole entire season, all right? Because the ending is a big one, and I'm gonna discuss that. So, make sure you've seen everything, all the episodes, all right? Yeah. So, season overall, season 2. Where do we begin with this one? I enjoyed the episode. I almost said episode. I enjoyed the season overall. I liked it. The first episode, in my opinion, was probably one of the better ones of the entirety of it. From the beginning to where we see Gi-han, what he's been up to, and because it's been like 3 years after the previous season came out, so people are like, "Oh, what's he been up to for this long?" And they tried to address it in a really interesting way, explaining that he was trying to track down the man, basically, who recruits people to join the game. So that's going on. He still has all that money left over after winning the Squid Game in which he participated in. I don't know why I keep saying Squid Game. That's just the name of it. It's the games. Are there even a name for the games? Like in season 2, they didn't even play Squid Games. I understand it's just like it had some meaning in the first season, but now it's like, they're sort of like, I don't know why I'm getting into this, but I'll just refer to it as the season. Second season, we get a new array of people that we get to meet, new characters. We get to learn about them, their lives. One girl who came from North Korea, what she's been up to. That happens more in the second episode, but in the first one, he also decides to eventually kills the person who's recruiting people, and before that he was playing Russian roulette. In my opinion, that was done really well. They were playing like rock, paper, scissors -1. And his boss decides to, let him be the one who dies to ensure that the other guy gets to live and continue on with his life. So there's that. But what else? There's also the whole bread and lottery scene which he was doing earlier, right? That was the title of the episode, right? And it sort of shows how people, make decisions, and just the chance that if they get the lottery, then how it'll be helpful, beneficial for them. They get all this money, but is it really worth the wait tossing something around like bread? Because he was giving it to people who were homeless, basically who had no food or shelter or anything. There were like these beggars out there, so he's trying to give them this choice, what they want to pick, but eventually decides to stomp on their bread, showing them the consequences of their action, and how, people may not always make, the smartest decision for them, So that was, in my opinion, a nice touch. But eventually, Gi-hun decides that, there are sometimes people who are desperate, who may have no choice, and decide to, sort of give them a reason and a motive as to why they want to make these choices and play these games. That's sort of what he wants to do, how people are sort of manipulating others' emotions and feelings, and, sort of wants to end the games and put people in sort of this right path. But I don't know why he just decide to bribe the players with the money which he had won, and as sort of a reason to not play the games anymore. But I wonder how that will turn out, or maybe that'll be a plot point in the third season. I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, in the second episode, sort of leads into that one where he and the police cop guy eventually decide to work together and team up to put an end to the games once and for all. And yeah, episode one, in my opinion, was pretty great. Enjoyed that one. Then we get to episode two, which in my opinion is probably the weakest one of the series. The first half is super not interesting, I guess, kind of boring in my opinion. But the second half and towards the ending of it is really good. And then from three till the end is just nonstop fun because they don't play red light green light again until the third episode. So this one there's a little bit more filler, a bit more backstory on some of the characters and sort of what's going on and who are the people who are going to be recruited. So we get to see some more of that end. And what Gihan's trying to do is basically try to get back and get a card basically so he can go and talk to the front man again, the guy who's basically in charge of running all the games. So eventually he does that, and after he tracks the person down, he gets a card invitation back into the games. And the other guys, they basically put this tracker implanted onto his tooth so that they can know where his location is and find him while the games are being played and continue on with their mission. So a bunch of people get on this little boat trying to find the island, but the captain of the ship is basically also working for the people who are doing the games as well. At first, he doesn't know much as to what's going on. He doesn't even know that Gihan has a tracker, so he doesn't know if they're close or not, or what their mission is. But eventually, when he finds out, then things take a turn for the worse for them from there on out. What else though? But that sort of happens later. But the ship people are just basically, they don't really get anywhere, in the entire season. They're just pretty much out there like doing nothing. We keep coming back to them once in a while, checking up to see what's up with them, but not much really happens from their end. But I mean, it still is interesting and cool to see because even in the second episode, we didn't think that the captain was a bad person yet. So, still sort of a surprise. But when you realize the truth, then it's like, okay, what are we doing here? But anyways, when he gets back put into the games, the third episode, when he convinces the front man guy basically how it would be interesting if he's able to come back and make people realize that they're making the bad decisions in with the game and all, and trying to stop them and put an end to it. The front man is basically challenging him and confronting him in a different viewpoint that people don't change when you present them with opportunities, and that the choices that they make along the games are theirs entirely. Okay, if most of the people want to stop, they always have the right to stop it in the games. But from Gihan's point of view, is like, well, when you show them the money, it tempts them to continue and keep on playing. The whole saying of just one more game, but is it ever just one more game? And how many people will die in that one more game? So there's a whole different, viewpoints and all, happening here. We didn't get the VIPs in this season, and I think I know why. They were hated in the first one. By a lot of people, a lot of complaints written about them, considering how they were like one of the main disappointments of the first season. Don't know what the director envisioned with that end, but we'll see. What else? What else happened in this one? We get a couple of new characters as well. We get like this mother and son, I forgot their name, little family over there. One girl's pregnant. Then we have a guy with purple hair named Thanos. So stupid, so dumb, I get that. I mean, obviously it was a direct hit from the Marvel people, and their character Thanos, it's weird. And there's a whole thing about, how they basically lost money after trusting this one guy who they invested a lot of money into crypto, and there was a big scam and fraud and all sort of stuff was going on here. I don't want to get into all of it. Just more backstory for other characters, explaining why they're in the games. I wonder what they showed for Gihan, or if they didn't show anything for him at all. Because I'm assuming they went through it all quickly, because like he's played the games before, he has money, so either they probably must have done something fake about him, or they didn't show him. And it would probably be hard to track down everyone because there's like 460 something total number of people, so eventually you forget some of the others except for like the main like notable ones, so it'd probably be pretty simple for them to forget. that they didn't show that why he was in the game or that he didn't have any debt that he had to pay back. So there's all that stuff going on. Then they play Red Light, Green Light, which is the first game, and bro, Gihan gets major PTSD, remembers the game, I mean, frankly, we all do, because it's like, at first, even we as the audience thought it was just super sweet, simple, innocent little game they were playing, but then, people actually started dying. So this one, he's lived through it all, but of course, the other people who are in the games don't know how much is at stake. It's literally their lives in this case. And he tries to help them out, explain to them. But of course, at first, people think he's crazy, but eventually they start listening to him, and he helps get a lot of people get across. And because of him, way more people survive in the game in this season than the previous one. So then after that, most of us think, okay, people died. Is that enough to convince them that they should stop playing the games? And I think at first it is. I think the first game itself was a major turning point, because that's already when you have a strong number of people who've already decided to quit, and then you have some of those who are, who mostly want to keep playing, but there's more who want to like stop, because people have died, they're so confused, they don't really trust them anymore, and they want to just leave. Now there's really, so far, there's no like hatred yet amongst the players themselves, right? They're not betraying each other yet. Right now it's like, they're wondering, they're confused, but then when it comes down to the voting, the decisions, that's when alliances form, the whole thing between O versus X, stop playing or keep playing, what's worth it, or not, but then the whole thing is like, what if it just gets down to one player, and of course that person's just going to be, more greedy and focused on, their money. And people try to influence others and do a lot of persuasion. All this stuff happens, and like, I guess the way that they try to show it and explain it, in my opinion, was done well. I will give them that, okay? What else happened? So, obviously, if it wasn't for player 001, then the games would have ended, because there was a majority of people who wanted to stop. And I think because of that, then after that, it would probably be way harder for them to not get enough number of X's to end the game, So yeah, it's still crazy how that I think there was a tie at first, but then he swooped in by just like one vote or whatever, right? So I'm wondering, if it was like, if they needed more votes to continue playing, then what would happen, like, would other people have to step in or what, but surprise, surprise, he only needed one person, So he decided to join the game so that they continue playing. I'm assuming if the game's ended, then the VIPs or whoever's watching would probably be pretty bored by now. It would not be fun at all. And then obviously the other people are fine having the players die and all, For them it's okay. We've gone through it. What else happens? That sort of taps into episode 3 over there. And then with the fourth one, obviously we check back up with the people who are on the boat. Not much to say about them. Yihan sort of trying to, stop the games, but then, player 001 basically comes out and explains how the only reason he said yes is because he knows that Yihan has survived. He's won the game beforehand, so he sort of is showing him that he trusts him. And obviously this is a trick that he's playing into him, obviously if it wasn't obvious from his number, 001, it was a bad idea to trust player 1 last time, but he's doing it again. Now obviously someone had to be player 001, but I don't entirely blame him on that, and it's just, a lot was at stake there. And for all he knew, he could have been like, he didn't know he was the front man, but could have at least maybe thought about it a little bit at first hand, And there are a lot of instances maybe where he could have picked up on it, but kind of chose not to, Anyways, what other games were played? After that, they were playing, I think it was like where you had 6 people. I think, was it 6 people? They were like tied together, and they had to play a series of mini games. Each person would play one mini game, and they had to do it under a certain time, They'd have to work together, trust each other, be efficient, and one person would need to play one game successfully in order for the whole team to win. So a lot was riding on this. Having a good team that's trustworthy. Who knows that okay, one person can surely play one game properly. So all that was going on. But eventually, player 001, I think his name is O Ilnam or something like that. You can correct me in the comments below. He decides to have a little fun and enjoy the games. And to be fair, the games are kind of fun and enjoyable when there's no like dead people at stake here. Honestly, if no one really died in this show, then it would just be like a game show happening on Netflix. But no, there's way more to it. But even with the whole thing of people dying, people are still willing and continuing to play the games. And that sort of brings on a whole side of violence. So yeah, there's that going on as well. And it's sort of coming down to finding people who you can trust and building an alliance. That's sort of like one of the main key strategies. Even if you don't know what game it is, you're hardly gonna go up against someone, but if you do, then that kind of sucks. Because like you never really know what's gonna happen next. So yeah. Um, so they play the game, they win the game. I'm not gonna get too much into that game. Not really as interesting there. Obviously, and then there's the whole thing with the girl who came in from North Korea. She's basically trying to help and save some people, ensuring that they don't die and that they can somehow continue to live onwards. So there's that happening as well. Then the last game happens, Mingle. So far, that's how many games we've gotten into. So that's 3 games in, right? Where basically you're in a circular little ringy thingy, and a number gets called out, and you have to make a team with that many number of people and head to a door as soon as possible and close said door, which sounds kind of fun and interesting, and it would be if people's lives were at stake, which they were. So and it's sort of again came down to the whole trust and alliance thing, that who are you going to choose to go with? Are some people going to get left behind, and like would there be like enough number of people to like fit within the door or whatever, or like what's a good group to have and how should people break apart? So there's a whole thing with that. It's, a lot of numbers are at play there, but especially with player 001, killing one guy, because when the number was 2, it was him and and Gihan's best friend, the military guy, whatever, or was in Marines, one of them, and basically, it basically sort of shook him and kind of revealed how much of a killer player 001 was. It was sort of the first time we got more of a taste of that, and he was about to tell Gihan what happened, but he decided not to. I think if he did tell him, then that would have changed. I mean, he only decided not to because he saw how nice and how kind 001 was being later on, but I don't know if he was doing it intentionally or on purpose. Like, did he know that they were watching him? There's whole sort of questions that I have. But what else happened? So people die in between these games, of course. It's pretty sad. Then eventually, there's a whole, chaos happening within the bathroom fight scene between the O's and the X's. Those want to keep playing, the X's want to end the game, so more people end up dying, But eventually, Gihan decides it's time to once and for all stop the games because, that some people aren't going to listen. The O's might still have a chance of winning. So, he decides that it's time to finish it off right here, right now. Which in my opinion is sort of a dumb plan, I mean, I get the initiative, but, I don't know if people have the morale or the strength or if it's the right time yet, to stage something like this. In my opinion, it would have been better just to continue on with the voting, especially considering how they had, I think, more X's than O's alive. So, and I think, after the fight scene, the thing may have shifted maybe some people's minds. I don't know. Or not. They may have just, continued on with their same viewpoint. But either ways, regardless of what they thought, I think there may have been a better chance, especially after the 3rd game, finishing the games once and for all. But that doesn't happen. Instead, Gi-hun and a few other people go out and try to, kill the people who are sort of, wearing the, I don't know what you call it, the red suit or whatever, or it's pink, and, start killing some of them and, try to head to the main room where, the front man is or whatever, and where all the other people are. But of course, he trusts player 001 at one of the worst times, and, he finally revealed who he is, which in my opinion was pretty good. I mean, we knew who he was, but the way, like, he sort of, because, like, you had to do it in a way where it didn't seem, like, too obvious, and more of, like, a yeah, we knew kind of thing. So they changed it up, made it a little bit different, which is nice. And what else? And yeah, then he kills Gi-hun's best friend, I guess. And then he's sad. And then he sort of captures all other contestants, players, and the ones who are trying to end the game. They surrendered, and I think they're probably going to die. I don't know what's going to happen with Gi-hun from here on out, but I guess we'll see. Maybe they'll continue to play the games. I'm assuming there's a good chance of that happening, considering after everything that has happened, there's still probably maybe a few more games left. I wonder if the boat people will sort of finally understand or realize as to what was really going on, and why they were never able to find the island. I still don't get why the police cop guy doesn't remember where the island was. Is it literally just because like he forgot? Because he knew where it was in the first season, or was able to go there. I don't remember what happened there, but this whole thing has just been pretty stupid. So I'm hoping something comes out of that from there. I'm assuming they'll probably figure out that their captain has sort of been tricking them and lying to them. When they find out that one of the people on the ship has died, maybe, and then they may, if I think it's stupid. The guy, when he realized that he was messing around with his drone thingy, instead he should have gone and told others about it, and then they could have figured it out. Now obviously he may have not known that he was gonna go and kill him, but it was sort of a dumb decision to make there. Instead of being like, yo, whoa, what are you doing here? Sort of just gone to the other people and been like, I think he's doing something here. He's messing with all our stuff, our equipment, and that probably would have gone on faster. I'm assuming they probably may have found the island sooner. It may have just been the captain misdirecting them. So maybe if they get rid of him, I'm assuming by now they probably would have been able to find the island, considering how nervous he got, Now, obviously, Gi-hun had removed the tracker from his tooth. That's probably one reason why they were never really able to find him. But, I don't know what they're going to be doing now. I guess we'll have to find out. I wonder what other games they will play. If they do play a Squid Game again in Season 3, that would definitely be interesting. I don't know if it's just a 1v1 kind of game, so I'm not entirely sure, but, if more people do end up playing it, then that would definitely be cool. And a nice callback to the original season, I wonder if Gi-hun will play a game against the front man, because I'm assuming, actually no, he thinks that the front man is dead, so he's gone. So I wonder if he's gonna, go on and do something else, because in his opinion, he thinks that player 001 is dead, and then eventually he went back and dressed up again as the front man, and then he was like, have you had fun playing the hero, his changed voice, so if they're both gone, then I'm assuming it's just adding more into his sadness, and after everything that's really happened, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what's gonna happen next, But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm just assuming that there's probably going to be some conclusion as to what's going to happen next. There are some theories going on online that Gi-hun may become the front man in the third season. I don't know how exactly that would happen, because, when like the main actor who's playing him, he was answering a bunch of questions. And then when he was asked if he becomes the front man, he said both yes and no. So I'm assuming maybe he was no in season 2, but maybe yes in season 3. But I'm still entirely sure why he would become the front man or how exactly that would work. But I guess we'll see what happens. That's about it, you guys. Squid Game season 3. On the last episode and the first episode were really amazing. Like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 level episodes. So overall maybe I don't know where to give this. Maybe 7.5 out of 10. Yes, I know it was really good, but the ending, the finale, in my opinion, the cliffhanger was just kind of mid. And I wish we could have gotten a bit more of the stuff we got from episodes 1 and 7 overall, like that sort of level of action, That would have been pretty cool to see. But what else? I think that's about it, you guys. I definitely had fun, watching this season and discussing with you guys. And more videos like these will probably be out soon. Just depends on how much time I have. Maybe less from here, but we'll see. Anyway, that's about it, you guys. Thanks for watching and sticking around. The Eagle Reverse Slash Reactor is out. Take care, you guys, and I'll see you guys next time.